NFL draft nerds, welcome in. Today we are talking about the big game, the superb owl, if you will. Big game this weekend, final game of the 2024 NFL season, going to crown the champions of the league. So I want to talk about it. I nailed this Super Bowl, right? I picked the Eagles and the Chiefs preseason. Got a little clip to play for y'all from a week before the regular season started. I'm going to play that right now.
So I have the Eagles making it to the Super Bowl, still have the Chiefs winning that football game.
Why did I pick both of those teams? Well, obviously the Chiefs were a no-brainer for so many reasons. Some of y'all might say because of the officiating, it's a no-brainer, right? Well, to me, it has a lot more to do with the coaches in place and the talent in place. And you're going to say, I thought this was all draft all the time here at Rogue Football. Well, it is. Look, the NFL draft had a massive impact on both of these rosters, not only in 2024, but the draft throughout the years can set you up for long-term success. And again, so does coaching, right? So does free agency. All these things matter. But the Eagles, the reason I picked them, and they're more of the interesting pick because you had folks picking the Lions, you had folks picking 49ers again, the Packers, all sorts of teams. I picked the Eagles. Why did I pick the Eagles? A post-hype team. There were a number of reasons I thought they would take a step forward. The draft is one of the main reasons for the Philadelphia Eagles taking a step forward, in my opinion. What they were able to accomplish in the secondary with Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, nothing short of amazing. And I say this all the time. Howie Roseman and the Philadelphia Eagles, they take advantage of market inefficiencies. What was a market inefficiency in this 2024 NFL draft? Cornerbacks falling farther than they should have. Quinyon Mitchell being available later in the first round. Cooper DeJean being available in the second round. Unbelievable. And you also talk, they did it the year before with Jalen Carter. He should not have been available where they drafted him, right? So the Philadelphia Eagles are just a model of being able to strike when opportunity presents itself. And they absolutely did that in the biggest way over the last couple years in the draft. And you look throughout the rest of their roster, they did a great job in free agency as well. And so, free agency is coming up in a little over a month. We're definitely going to be talking about that. And we do talk about free agency pretty much every time we talk about a team doing a mock draft, full 7-round mock draft for a team. We take a look at what they can accomplish in free agency, maybe what they need to accomplish, things like that. But look at what the Philadelphia Eagles did in free agency, okay? Mekhi Becton, who not a lot of folks talk about, but him going in there at guard has tremendously helped out their offensive line, especially in the run game. Saquon Barkley, ever heard of him, right? You also added Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Would the Philadelphia Eagles be in the Super Bowl without Zach Bond? I legitimately don't know. He's been one of the best linebackers in football this year. Whether it's playing the run, blitzing, playing in coverage, Zach Bond's been incredible. What a revelation he's been coming over from New Orleans. How cool of a story is that? And again, to me, Saquon Barkley is the MVP of the NFL this year. He is the most valuable player. And yeah, getting him behind a really talented offensive line, that helps too. So the draft and free agency, roster building, what we love to talk about here on this channel, are two of the obvious reasons for the Philadelphia Eagles making the Super Bowl. I also think when you look at their coaching, they went from some folks who might not have been the most qualified, might not have been the best, to a great defensive coordinator in Vic Fangio, a great defensive coordinator. I don't want to say he's all time because we got an all-timer on the other side, right? But Vic Fangio is up there. He's a marvelous, fantastic game plan defensive coordinator, extremely smart, knows how to get the best out of his players. And the offensive side of the ball, Kellen Moore, while I don't think he's like an innovator necessarily on the offensive side of the ball, I think he brings enough stability, enough answers to the questions that defenses can present you, especially the Eagles really struggled with blitz protections and blitz answers last year. I think that Kellen Moore has provided a level of stability, and it helps having Saquon Barkley. It absolutely does, and having AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, two great receivers, Dallas Goedert, a very good tight end. Yeah, they're talented across the board. But I think Kellen Moore has done a much better job this year than what they had going on last year in 2023. Okay. Jalen Carter taking a step forward, Nolan Smith taking a step forward. Obviously, these were huge developments for them as well. Reed Blankenship playing great football. But overall, I just think that this is such a well run organization. And look, I have to give some credit to the head coach here, too, Nick Sirianni. I'm not always his biggest fan. I don't always love the way he handles himself. But, for Philly, maybe he is the right guy. Maybe he is the right type of kind of CEO type head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles that they need. He's got a little FU in him, and I think the Eagles fan base has a lot of FU in them. So, yeah, I think that Nick Sirianni, Howie Roseman, Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, and so is this group going to get broken up? It looks like Kellen Moore might be the guy for the New Orleans Saints. Vic Fangio, I think, obviously sticking around, but finding somebody to replace Kellen Moore is going to be important. Again, someone that can bring stability, someone that can lean on the best players, and it shouldn't be difficult to do that. It really should. Any offensive coordinator worth their salt should be able to get the job done here. Now, Jalen Hurts, I'm a huge fan of him. I'm a huge fan of the leader and, how much he's developed throughout his career from getting benched for Tua Tagovailoa to being where he is incredible. There are some limitations from a passing game standpoint with Jalen Hurts. There are. But the tush push, the rushing ability, the playmaking ability that he brings to your football team, that's pretty special. So I'm excited the Philadelphia Eagles made it. Those are the reasons, though, really. The free agent class, the draft class, and the coaching upgrades are the reasons that I believed in Philly a little bit more than maybe in years past. And that's why I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. And with the Chiefs, look no further. Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, right? And I think you can also add Trent McDuffie to that list, who really belongs among the absolute pillars of this franchise. And, they have a very strong offensive line outside of, they had issues at left tackle. They're like, okay, well, let's just throw Joe Thuney out there. And what he's been doing in the playoffs in the last few weeks of the regular season at left tackle, nothing short of amazing. Having to, switch from left guard to left tackle, unbelievable job he's been doing. So that's great. Obviously, the Chiefs are in a unique position to be able to take some swings in the draft at times that might not always hit because of the stability they have with their coaching staff, the stability they have with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, Trent McDuffie. But they do a good job in the draft. Drafting Xavier Worthy and developing him the way they did was really impressive. They did the same thing with Rashee Rice, right? And this offense could be firing on a lot higher cylinder throughout the year had Rashee Rice been available. Obviously, the injury, and you don't know what's going to happen in the future, potential suspension or anything like that. But their offensive line's playing good ball. They got D-Hop. They got Hollywood, two talented guys, right? Very low cost moves that they made there. Trey Smith, an absolute dog. Creed Humphrey, a dog. Jawan Taylor, a very good pass protector. So they've got it going on. And then you bring in Kareem Hunt off the street. Redemption story for him in Kansas City. Obviously, you never condone what he did, but redemption story in Kansas City. Isaiah Pacheco's still there. Defensive front-wise, George Karlaftis needs to be talked about more. He's an unbelievable high-effort, high-energy, great athlete at edge. Chris Jones is kind of what the whole defense revolves around. What Steve Spagnuolo designs this defense around is Chris Jones' skill set. But you've got guys like Tershawn Wharton making plays, Mike Dana making plays. Still hoping for Felix Anudike-Uzomah to kind of come into his own. 2023 first-round pick. But at linebacker, You were able to steal Drew Tranquil a couple years ago from the Chargers. He's playing good football for you. Nick Bolton, another underrated player, not ever going to be like the elite man coverage linebacker, but he is a really good leader and linebacker playing against the run, playing smart football, being able to drop into zones as well. And Leo Chenal can play at a high level. What they've been able to get out of the secondary is really impressive. Moving Trent McDuffie around a little bit, playing him outside, playing Chamari Connor at nickel. Justin Reed is a great football player. I think that they're going to have to move on from him probably because they drafted Jaden Hicks and he's probably going to be able to get a nice little bag. But Justin Reed, such a physical presence in the secondary. This is just a solid football team with talent at every single position that has elite coaching, elite game plan coaching, and three of the best to ever do it at their respective positions, right? Patrick Mahomes, to me, is already the GOAT. I know a lot of folks get mad about that, but I think he's the greatest quarterback to ever walk the earth. I think that Chris Jones is at worst a top 10 defensive tackle of all time, probably a top 5 defensive tackle of all time. He's the best in the NFL right now, but he's, legendary type of football player. And Travis Kelce is a legendary tight end as well. So with all the talent and coaching that these teams have, it's no wonder that they ended up in the Super Bowl. And the Eagles, they absolutely dismantled the Commanders to get here. The Chiefs had to absolutely battle it out with the Buffalo Bills to get back to the Super Bowl. But you look at these two franchises, so impressed with what they did throughout the offseason and then how they put it all together throughout the 2024 regular season and into the playoffs. And so this is what I expected from these two teams. Saquon Barkley absolutely dominating for the Eagles behind that offensive line and with that wide receiver and tight end talent, right? And Jalen Hurts as well as a rushing threat and passing threat. And then the defense, it's loaded with talent. It's got Vic Fangio dialing it up. I still expect the Chiefs to win, but I am looking forward to what should be a fantastic matchup on Sunday. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below, who you picked to go to the Super Bowl, why it might have worked out, why it didn't. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.